when the International Monetary Fund issued a report that global economic growth is slowing dangerously, and one of the major reasons are the trade wars that were initiated by Mr. Trump and the Republican Party in power as they imposed tariffs first on the Mexicans and the Canadians and demands for rewriting treaties, and then tariffs on steel and aluminum, and then on China. You know the story. It's unfolding all the time. Turns out that these trade wars and tariffs are bad for economic growth around the world, and are another contributing factor in the uncertainty of how to plan for the world that leads businesses not to invest, which in turn drives the economy down. It's interesting for me to point out, not only to remind everyone of how unstable capitalism is, but to point out that this time the instability may be considerably worse because of what Mr. Trump and the Republicans are doing. In order to appear to their political base as though Mr. Trump is the tough guy who's redesigning the global economy to better serve the United States, America first, this theater is actually going to cost everybody, including Americans, an economic slowdown already and a maybe worse crash than usual anytime soon. And just to make sure you understand, this is not just me speaking. The largest bank in the United States, J.P. Morgan Chase, issued a report a couple of weeks ago, literally predicting that the next downturn here in the United States will happen early in the year 2020. That's less than a year and a half from now. Why do people accept an economic system that's so unstable? That's the real question. As if to underscore the point, the Bank of England, which is the equivalent in Great Britain to what the Federal Reserve is here in the United States, issued another report last week, very worried about subprime debt. Here's what they explained. Businesses have been borrowing money like crazy over the last 10 years. Why? Because in the aftermath of the crash of 2008, when the government of England, like America and many other countries, feared that the whole economy would collapse, interest rates were brought down near zero to make it easy for people to borrow and businesses to borrow in the hopes that that would stimulate the economy and prevent another Great Depression. So interest rates being brought down led every business, well-run, mediocrely run, poorly run, to see a solution to whatever problems they encountered by borrowing virtually costless money. The result is, says the Bank of England, that if the economy turns down now and hurts a lot of businesses, they won't be able to pay back the excess borrowing that they have undertaken because of the last crash. In other words, the last crash led the Bank of England to bring interest rates down, which leads to an excess of borrowing, which sets up the next crash.